Hi, Joe Muldowney here, and welcome to the channel. This week's YouTube video is going to be another in a series of the running shorts videos in which I'm going to try to help you become a better runner, and you become a better runner by being more comfortable when you're out there, by understanding some training techniques, by utilizing whatever we have out there to make you become a better runner. And we're going to point some of those things out in the next few weeks here on the Running Shorts YouTube series. This is the third in the series of videos that I intend to make every week if possible. And to make that possible, please, if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you want to share the video with someone, hit the share button. And if you want to make sure you get these videos every week, hit the subscribe button. And you'll get these videos all the time. And again, this is a channel for you. I've done this for a long time. I know a lot of these things because, well, I guess the School of Hard Knocks have helped teach me that. And I would like to pass some of that knowledge of my 40-some years of running and my 20-some years of coaching on to you by showing you some things and instructing you on some things that I think will be important to you and be beneficial to you in your running on a daily basis and in your racing when you sign up for races. So first of all, before we get to that, something that should be of an interest to all runners is coming up this weekend. It is the United States Olympic Marathon Trials for both men and women. It will be held in Orlando, Florida, and it will be held on Saturday morning, February 3rd. The runners who have qualified for the Olympic Trials Marathon have qualified within the past 2 years, and the top 3 runners, both men and women, hopefully will advance to the Olympics, which will be held in Paris this year in July and August. Again, there is generally it would be the top 3 runners, but now there are some qualifying time standards. So hopefully we will get 3 men and 3 women in there for the race. I'm sure it will be televised somewhere. I'm not sure where, or you can stream it somewhere. But this is of interest to everybody. These are extraordinary athletes. You know how it is to go out there and run. And you know, there's a little adage that we use. Take what some of these men and women are running per mile for the marathon for 26.2 miles and go out there and try to run 1 lap on the track as fast as they're running. It's difficult to do because there's some very fast and very talented runners. Okay, now on to today's video. I just think that when you're out there running, you know running's pretty difficult. There's no timeouts. It's you against the clock. There's no other team members that you can blame things on if things go wrong. It's all you. It's up to you to get out there and train if you can. Now, training on the treadmill is fine, but I think for most of us, we like to get out there and train if we can. So my thoughts are, if you can train more comfortably, if you can utilize everything there is out there to make it more comfortable when you're out there running, you're going to want to go out there and run more. And if you want to go out there and run more and more frequently, and more miles, then you're going to run better, you're going to run faster, and you're going to probably feel better about it because I think running is very goal-oriented. So today's video is going to talk about what to wear when you're out there running, and we're going to take it seasonally, and of course, being right now smack in the middle of winter, that's what we're going to look at. A good friend of mine who used to run with me every day back in the day used to once in a while call me and say, "What's the wardrobe decision for today?" And he didn't really mean, what kind of shirt or tie I'm wearing that day to work. He meant, what's going to be the wardrobe decision for running today? And most runners, especially when you're starting out, make a very, very fundamental mistake when going outside to run. And that is overdoing it. And when I say overdoing it, I mean overdressing. Dressing too much for the conditions. What do I mean by that? And how do you figure that out? Here's the best barometer for that. Get ready to run. Dress, you look at the thermometer, you see it's 36 degrees. Dress how you think you should run. Go out your front door. Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel warm? If you do, turn around and go back in, peel off a layer. You've dressed too warm. The body heats up like a blast furnace when you run. You're burning a lot of calories, and you're burning them over generally a long period of time, and it just heats up. You sweat. You just heat up. And again, it's just, you may go out there, walk outside for something, get something out of your car, and you're shivering and you're cold. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to really, really bundle up today. You really don't. Yeah, you might feel uncomfortable for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes you're out there, but I guarantee you're not going to feel uncomfortable when you're out there for a while. So rule number 1 is do not overdress. Because let me say one more thing about overdressing. And even though I'm talking about the winter time, let's talk about the summertime. When it is sweltering hot in the summertime, many of us like to get near water, near a pool, a lake, an ocean. Why? Because water has a cooling effect. Well, it also has a cooling effect if you overdress and if your base layer is very sweaty and that perspiration is on the layer of your skin, or the layer I should say is on your skin, it's going to make you cold. When that cold air hits the cold water, you're going to get colder. So do not overdress. Now, 3 years ago, after spending an entire lifetime up in Pennsylvania, I was fortunate enough to move here to South Carolina. And we had winter last week. I think we had 3 days of it. Days that were in the 30s, got down into the teens at nighttime. And we'll probably get a little bit more in February, but not much. So I'm one of the fortunate ones, at least now. In July and August, I probably won't be saying that. But if you're like most of the people in this country and in many places in the world, you're going to have to suffer through a few more weeks of winter when you're doing your outdoor running. I'm coaching 2 wonderful young runners. I'll give them a shout out today. And they're up there training right next to Lake Michigan in Chicago. Their names are Jake and Rachel, and shout out to them. They're training for upcoming half marathons and marathons, and they're doing really well. And hopefully this video will be beneficial to them as it will be to you. Conversely, I'm coaching some runners in Australia, Ben and Pete and some other folks over there, Leon as well. And they're in the middle of summer now, where their Celsius temperatures are telling me that it's up into the 90s. But again, for most of us, we're in cold weather, so let's talk about what you should wear. The most important layer of clothing that you must put on during the wintertime is your base layer. This is the layer that's going to go closest to your skin. This happens to be an Under Armour. This is my warmest of all of my clothing. Again, I put this right next to my skin. This has kind of like a honeycomb pattern here. It's extremely warm. I wear it when I go hunting. It is just very, very warm. And it's wicking. When you do your research, get a material that is warm and that it wicks the sweat away from your body. It is so important because of that, the sweat factor that I told you about earlier. Wear this as your base layer. It will wick out the sweat. I have layers that I wear, when it's 40 to 50 degrees, 40 to 50, 30 to 40, 20 to 30, below 20, that kind of thing. This is another Under Armour that I have. This is the cold gear. I've worn it for years. Good stuff. It's a turtleneck. It's not quite as warm as this one, but it's pretty warm. Base layer. Over the base layer, I put a t-shirt. Again, base layer wicks out into the t-shirt, and that does it. Now, believe it or not, and again, when I lived in Pennsylvania, there were days when I ran that it was below zero. Again, you may go heavier with this or lighter with this, and man, this is old. This is from Frank Shorter running gear. I don't even know if they make it anymore. This is a jacket. Again, it's always, always seems like it's gray when it's outside. Try get a lighter colored jacket. Just be seen. People are on their cell phones. Traffic is crazy out there. Jacket. Runners, that's it. The coldest weather, 3 layers. Maybe you want to go 2 long sleeves if you want. Maybe you want to go a heavier one of these jackets. I never have. I never have. Again, got to do all the rest. But so let's take a look at that. So that's up on the top. In the middle of your body, as I get my other layers here. Middle of your body, again, you want to be a little bit warmer in the midsection. Go with a kind of pair of, short, tight, hugging type of shorts underneath. Then I go with my regular running shorts. And then, of course, tights. Tights are fantastic. And again, you might want to get different layers of tights. Maybe a lighter tight that's not quite so warm. Maybe a little bit, thicker kind of tight. Again, those legs are moving all the time, so they're gonna stay cool. For socks, you might want to get a wicking sock. Sometimes those compression socks are good because, again, you want to keep your legs a little warmer. Compression socks go kind of halfway up your calf, 3/4 of the way up your calf. That's not a bad idea to wear a compression sock. Something also that'll wick in case you step in puddles, that kind of thing. Your feet generally stay warm. Those of you who cycle, your feet get really cold when you cycle. Not so much when you're running, because cycling you're kind of breaking the wind with your feet. Not so much when you're running. My feet have really never gotten cold. Hands though are a different story. So obviously gloves for your hands on the cold days. On the coldest of cold days, believe it or not, mittens. Here's why. In your gloves, with your gloves, your fingers are separated. And if your fingers are together, the warmth from each finger is going to the other finger. So, with mittens, if you have some type of mitten, what's happening then, of course, with the exception of your thumb, all your fingers are together in there, keeping each other warm, nice and warm, and therefore mittens are the warmest of the warm, warmer than gloves. Any kind of hat, pullover hat, for those of you who are down south, a friend of mine in Texas just informed me that those pullover hats that we wear are also called toboggans. And I kind of wondered how you would get a big sled on your head. But right now, that's toboggan is the word for me. So put your toboggan on. If it's not so cold, you can go with a headband, possibly of your favorite your professional football team. Do a headband instead of a toboggan. Is a good idea. And what I found to be extremely valuable over the years, if it's not so cold, is a vest. Kind of what happens to me is the sweat kind of runs down my arms and then it runs down to my hands and my hands get cold. So a vest I will wear really almost down to like 30 degrees. People I've known, friends of mine, to go out and still run in shorts when it's in the 30s. My breaking point for shorts is usually 50 degrees. If it's below 50, I'll wear tights. Again, that's kind of your own personal preference, what you want to do there. But again, your legs are moving constantly, of course, when you're running. And so they do not have to be as warm as the rest of you. So a lot of my friends, they'll wear shorts, as I said, even into the 30s. So again, it's your personal preference, but I would try this. I would try minimalizing what you're wearing because again, it bogs you down. It makes you actually colder when you have too much on, and it is very unpleasant. Finally, well, no, before I get to my finally, one more great piece of advice. I don't even know where I picked this up. It's one of these things that's just so logical that, like, why wouldn't you pick it up? Always gauge that wind. And if it is anywhere possible, if you're going out, let's make it an even number. If you're going out for a 4-mile run, as unpleasant as it may be, run right into that wind for the first 2 miles. And then turn around and have it at your back. Again, if you do it the opposite, you're going to sweat a lot. Then that cold wind's going to hit you in the chest and it's not going to feel good. Conversely, you do that, you suffer, you push your way through that wind, and then you have it at your back. Physically, it's going to feel good. Psychologically, it's going to feel good. You literally have the wind pushing you, have the wind at your back. So take that advice for keeping warm as well. Finally, what about snow and ice? Ice, stay home or go to the gym. Snow, I don't know. It's kind of fun to get out there and run in the snow. I'm glad I'm not going to do it anymore in the rest of my life. But for you, it might be fun to get out there in the snow and, be the first footprints in the snow, that kind of thing. Snow's okay. Kind of forces you to slow down sometimes and slow up your pace a little bit. Maybe those aches and pains that you have from pounding the sidewalk so much, might be alleviated if you are running on the snow. So that's not a bad idea. So yeah, do a couple miles in the snow. It won't hurt. You're not going to run as fast and recognize that you're not going to run as fast, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of different. So that's not a bad idea either. I hope these ideas help you. I hope you'll be able to utilize these ideas and they will help make winter running more pleasant for you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you have a question about anything I went over in this video, or you have any specific questions about your running, please feel free to ask me in the questions. And as I said, feel free to share this, subscribe, like, and I'll be back again next week with some hopefully good hints for running, good techniques for your running, and again, ideas that will make your running easier. So Joe Muldowney saying goodbye, good luck, good running. Let's get through this next month or so. And a great time of the year is coming pretty soon for those springtime runs and springtime races.